April 2023 video horoscope with me, Lada from AstroladaOfficial. Guys, April eclipse season starts. Wow, we're gonna have the first eclipse in Aries, the first with North Node since 18 years ago. So big shifts are about to happen, and we're gonna have the luckiest day of the year. Jupiter will join the sun. For every one of us, some powerful new creative inspirational opportunity will appear that will make us feel more alive. We'll talk through all of that. And Mercury goes retrograde, but who cares? But the eclipses and Jupiter and the sun. But before I start, I just want to let you know that this is my birthday month, and I only do once a year discount of almost 50% of all of my courses. Only my courses. It's not going to repeat again this year. I'm doing it just for my birthday month for 2-3 weeks. So if you'd like to learn any of my courses, I have foundational, short, long. I will put a link below to all my courses, so you can this is the last time I'm doing it this year, and possibly for years ahead, because I'm gonna do a very different way. We're gonna do a subscription from then on, so it's, you know, so we'll see. So thank you so much. Let's begin the April 2020 Aquarius Sun, Moon, and or Rising, April 2023. Ooh, I always love doing you guys, because then I look at my horoscope too. Well, the month starts with Saturn being born into your second house. It's moved already there in March, but to be born is to become visible. So now it can start you can start laying actual foundations and start seeing tangible events connected to this second house of yours. So what does it mean? In April, you can start laying foundations to be much more strict on new rules about how you eat. You can start trying some more limited diets or eliminating things from your diet, because second house is what we put in our mouth, you know, and what we drink, what we eat as well. And Saturn gives us the ability to be more disciplined. So the birth of this discipline and new rules there, and you can really stick with them like never before, like many years before, with those things, with those regulate this weight or regulate how you eat. Another way, it can be the birth of certain problems as well. And the second house is the mouth, teeth. You have to be careful, or some kind of you know, the second house is food, not only food, but eating situations and disorders. Let's hope that's not it. Let's hope is where you can take more control of it. The second house is also finances, money. So you can start putting more rules and becoming way more aware about your spending, and you might start putting new limitations on how much you spend, or more control over your money, or more deliberate observation and inventory, like writing down everything you spend and having maybe cutting off more subscriptions and so on, so you can consolidate your savings, your finances. You can be more in control of them. So setting such new rules. You can set new rules in regards to your self-worth, like prices. So you can start questioning, you know, what is your self-worth, how much you deserve, and so on. On another level, but this, you'll be dealing with the second house for 3 years, guys. So it's just the beginning. But now you can start those little seeds. Then the other big event is that there is a full moon in your 9th house on the 6th. So you can feel it a few days before and 10 days after, a couple of weeks. So this April, basically, can be a focus on travel, for example. This is the 9th house, and of course the 3rd house is also activated by the full moon. Travel, far distance, take a plane or even short trips. This is the time to do it, and you really, I think you enjoy it. It will feel emotional. You feel your feelings enhanced. You might feel the moon in the 9th house can feel very intuitive during that time. You can feel like some of you might even, the moon is the past, might revisit places that they've been in the past lifetimes or whatever. But also in another way, it can be like you can be very emotionally in tune to higher knowledge. And the 9th house is the connection to higher power, the connection to your higher self, the connection to your higher mind. And the moon is very intuitive. So there is almost this, for some of you that can feel this almost intuitive knowing and alignment with inspirations. You can be receiving intuitive signs from God or from your higher self. You can be receiving even messages, downloading or intuitively noticing and knowing within you messages from the universe and omens. And also there is the ninth house is higher knowledge, education. Some of you might be completing a project connecting to teaching, to learning, or something educational, to spreading knowledge, or they might be seeing the results of it. If you've been working on something like that, you can kind of, such project might be culminating now. Or starting or studying something, higher education can be emphasized. Also teachers and mentors and father figures and relationships with such figures can be emphasized, and it can be more emotional. It can be more bonding as well with the moon. But there is some focus on such themes, and there is focus on high-minded themes, like you're thinking about the future, you're open-minded, high-minded, you're examining things from a higher perspective around those few days. And part of this eclipse is Chiron. Chiron is conjunct the sun and exactly opposite the moon. So there is some kind of a healing crisis that can happen for Aquarius, connected to their mind, the lower mind and the higher mind. There's some the healing crisis can be connected, for example, to anything to do with the early childhood. Third house is siblings. If there's some, the Chiron is the wounded healer, and the full moon is about something coming to a completion. So they might be connected to siblings, or it might be connected to wounding from early childhood, where from school, if you were hurt somehow from schoolmates or in the school environment as well, or any wounding that's connected to your intelligence, how intelligent you believe you are, or any wounding connected to father figures, the ninth house, or any wounding connected to that might be healing now, and you might be realizing important things connected to your belief systems. The ninth house is how we were programmed, the propaganda or the beliefs that we were through our parents and through our culture that we're indoctrinated with. And we might have very pained and wounded belief system. For example, my belief system is quite painted from childhood. Like I had some very wounded belief system of that God is punishing, and any kind of belief systems. You might, whatever it is, there can be some unwinding of those old belief systems that are painful, that are keeping you stuck in a perpetual wound of some sort. You might believe that, let me give you an example, that smoking gives you fun, and that's a belief that it's relaxes you, and there can be unraveling of this belief now, because it's full moon, something to realize, something to come to a completion, and it's been keeping you in a constant wound for years, and you can realize that actually it's not relieving stress, actually it's creating the stress itself. Or another, it can be a belief on any level. It can be a belief connected to your early childhood or whatever, or so something there that can be healed about how you think, because this is the axis of your mind, how you think, lower mind, higher mind, that can be solving of such situations, hopefully. But then after that, there is Sun Jupiter conjunction in your third house, and that's very powerful. The Sun and Jupiter conjunction is considered to be the very auspicious and the luckiest day of the year. Well, I cannot say the luckiest, but definitely the two most powerful planets in our solar system meet together to start a new cycle. And it's the first time they meet in your third house since 2011, something like that, since 12 years, since 2011. So there will be the birth of something very positive and powerful that will bring you, that activates your creativity, and that activates your sense of meaning and life and inspiration, and gives you more joy in life. And it's in the third house. New way of thinking can be born for you. New, more positive thinking approach, to think in more optimistic, positive ways, to think from a higher perspective as well. Your communication style. There can be a new interesting project that is born that fills you with inspiration, and it can be a source of wealth or well-being and joy and happiness over the next 12 years that you develop it till the next cycle. For example, when this happened, actually exactly 12 years ago, in my third house, because I'm Aquarius, when the Sun and Jupiter met in my third house, 12 years ago, that's exactly when I launched AstroladaOfficial. I didn't plan it to be on this day. It just happened like that. So on this month, basically. So I'm not saying just on the 11th, the whole month of April, something will be seeded in your life that's a source of wealth or growth and positivity or wisdom and or financial opportunity and spiritual growth and pride and healing and so positive things for the next 12 years. And it took me 12 years to develop that website, and I continue to, and I'm hoping to launch something again now this April. Might not be ready, but it's a month where anything connected to media, to marketing, to advertising, to business, to ideas, to writing, to speaking, to training, to communication, to all of those third house activities, which is the skills of the mind, the skills of the intellect, and the skills of the hands as well. So you can develop a new interest, new hobby can be born for you, new passion to study something, to learn the skills of something, whether it's a new language, piano, astrology course in something. Third house is new information that you're learning. You can come across an incredible book or incredible podcast, something that inspires you, something that, oh, you can start a podcast, you can start a blog, you can start articles, you can start videos to make now. Do something this third house, or start on a course. It's incredible. It will fill your life with positivity and new opportunities. Or you can go on a trip. Third house is trips. That it opens up your mind, opens up new opportunities for you, opens up your consciousness in some way. Or another way it can play out is third house is a social house of social connections and relatives, and you can have really good interactions this month with relatives that are uplifting. You can feel more bonded and connected to people, or more present, so to speak, and new people can appear in your life as well. People in your everyday environment, they might be colleagues, they might be friends, they might be online friends or associates, or someone that you meet that bring new ideas to you, or you can even have new partnerships, like start new business collaboration with someone, or new associate in your life, or colleague that brings some kind of light and inspiration. People in your environment that make you feel more alive, more excited, or just attend some, connect with friends, with people in your environment from early childhood friends as well, whatever, that you feel close, like siblings and relatives that you connect, that you have good times with. That's some of the least way it can play out, but it's still very positive. Funny enough, we're traveling then, and I'm meeting with a school friend, and I'm hoping to launch a website. Woo, crazy. Let's say, or any kind of a mental work, like report you can release, or show business plan to someone. It's gonna be good for all of those things. And then there is an eclipse in your third house again on the 20th of April, and it's with Jupiter and with the North Node. So again, in Western astrology, the North Node and Jupiter act very similarly. They expand something, they give material manifestation. So again, and this eclipse shows for the next 6 to 12 months, it will be affecting your third house. So definitely something fated in connection to your siblings, relatives, the people in your environment. New social circle can appear, new friends can appear that are fated and might be there for a long term, or new interests can appear, new things to study, to learn can appear, new hobbies as well, anything connected to media, to marketing as a project, to writing, speaking, learning. Woof, it's a busy house. Of course, the eclipse can have also a little bit of a crisis. There you have to be careful. In some extreme cases, there can be first some crisis that happens through those third house activities connected to siblings, relatives, or projects connected to media, marketing, business, commercial transactions of any sorts, traveling, and so on. But what I'm seeing here is that April starts this first eclipse in your third house, and this new cycle of Jupiter and the Sun. So it will be a big focus, not just in April, but for a year ahead, at least a year and a half, that something big will be happening there with all those, with some of those third house activities, and that it will be gainful, that will introduce growth, new horizons, new opportunities as well. All right, so the next important thing is that Mercury will turn retrograde in your fourth house on the 21st of May, and will stay retrograde there on the 21st of April, and will stay retrograde there till the beginning of May, the first week of May. And that's, I remember last year Mercury was retrograde in our fourth house again, and that was exactly the time when I started a home project a little bit before it started turning retrograde. So Mercury will be in our fourth house for 2 months. And last year, for those 2 months, I built an outside kitchen in my home. Not me, but with builders. So I was busy with home stuff and building stuff and redoing stuff at home. And it stretched out over a month and a half. But with Mercury retrograde, it means like they have to fix something, or just you're busy with arranging of details of such things, with relocations or home or property, buying or selling property or something, arranging some documents connected to property or place of living and so on. Or maybe spending more time with family, or spending time with family members you haven't seen, or going back to your place of origin and birth during that time, or reconnecting with parents, or or with certain responsibilities or duties that you have to arrange about property, home, family, or family reunions sometimes happen to get back together with family and so on, to reconnect with such people. And as you can see, that there's like third house is siblings and relatives, a lot of interactions where the Sun triggers. Fourth house is family overall, Mercury triggers it. It's interesting how this dynamic will play out. And of course, with Mercury retrograde in the fourth house, there can be some important conversations in the family where you are rethinking the rules of the family, how you live at home, and shifting them. And there might be a little bit of a disruption, like the family routines are disrupted for a couple of weeks because you're changing something or whatever. It's a little bit up in the air, and you're shifting something, or some important conversations about family, things from the past, about your childhood, some revelations and remembering things from your early childhood as well, it's possible, and some psychological digging. The fourth house is the house of psychology. Mercury days maybe like remembering things from the past, or realizing and putting together certain facts from the past, or certain secrets even, or certain things from the family history that you find out that are enlightening for you in some way, that shift your perspective in some way. Psychological digging into your own past that is helping you reframe the past in some ways is also possible. And last but not least, Mars will be in our sixth house the whole month. It's forging ahead. It can put us focus on exercise routines, to be more initiative, and it especially might be triggered by some emotional situation. Also, it can make us, because it's a house of sickness, so it can make us some kind of a more acute health condition for some of you, like a cold or stomach pain, or something that's more acute and fast, or some kind of inflammation. Or sometimes it's a call that Mars shows you to change something in your daily habits and routines, and to start out on a workout routine of some sort, to maintain your health. And also Mars in the sixth house can make you very focused to work as well, to get things done, to solve problems, to be more cleaned around, to order things around, and to deal with problems and to get things done, especially at your work. So there you go, Aquarius. A lot of things. I think the most important to focus on is the Sun and Jupiter. Oh, I forgot to say, from the 11th, also Venus enters your fifth house, will stay there till the end of the month. So that's wonderful for romance, for children, for having fun, romantic dates, feeling more joy of life, playing, fun, enjoyments, and all of those parties. creativity will be enhanced from the 10th, 11th of April onwards. Thank you so much.